So when Emily was first born, actually from the moment she came out, we kind of noticed that her head was slightly misshapen. And at first they told us that a little tummy time and it might go away. But the big one was that our 2-month, her forehead was kind of protruding. So I asked the pediatrician if we should be worried about the pelagiocephaly. And they recommended that we go see therapy to maybe just kind of get the process started and see if we needed the cranial helmet. So at 3.5 months, I think we went to therapy, got evaluated for the pelagiocephaly and the torticollis. Luckily, we didn't have any of that, and then we came here to see Clark and Associates at about 4 months. So I think we were a little bit younger than maybe some of the typical kids, but since we noticed the problem right away, we were trying to be proactive. And once we got here, we met Scott, and he was fantastic. So actually that process was fantastic. It was actually moved quite quickly as well. I think for us, the longest part was just getting first from the physician to therapy, but once we got from therapy to Clark and Associates, I think that was maybe 2 weeks and we were in for our first appointment. Yeah, right? So I think if I remember, we did one evaluation and then we came back maybe 2 weeks later to do the actual scan for her head. And I'm not sure if that's because of age or if it's just because of how the process works. But we had our scan done, and honestly, it was 2 weeks later, our helmet was here and we were in it and ready to go. So that process was very quick. Honestly, it went fantastic. We were prepared, that we may be one of the ones that was like a 3 to 6 month, the longer, just because of the severity of the slope in her forehead. But we ended up only being a 3 month. So we started, I think, maybe earlier, which from what I've heard, maybe a little bit more helpful. But yeah, we kept with it. We came back probably every 2 weeks, I think. And yeah, at 3 months, we were already out. I think the biggest thing is to trust the process. As a parent, and we were one of those two, we were obviously worried from the point that she was born to asking the doctor. Like, we were proactive, wanting to make sure that nothing was more severely wrong. And then even once we got started with the process, I don't know if our story is unique or not, but once we got into the helmet, we saw a lot of growth with her ears very quickly and not her forehead. And even though we were only in it for the 3 months, we trusted the process, we trusted Scott, we knew that it needed time. Even though it can be scary, I guess ask the questions, do your due diligence, and then just trust the medical professionals that they're steering you guys in the right direction.